Hello all and welcome to the latest Craftmania Sunday Showcase. Before we get started on today's brand new products, just want to thank all of you who took part in last week's competition to win one of my cards. I'm happy to announce our winner is Annie Jewis, who won card number 8. So we'll be in contact with you soon, Annie. Congratulations, and once again thank you all for taking part. This week we don't have a competition, I'm afraid, but I'm sure they will return shortly, so do keep watching our videos and we'll soon give you the chance again to win one of my cards. So, moving on. Today I have 7 brand new colours of a brand new Gilding polish, which is just the most Moorish product I've ever worked with. If you're looking at the jar and thinking this looks very familiar, it certainly should do. To any of you that have watched our videos before, it's a very similar product to when we did the Glitter Kiss not that long ago. I know many of you have watched our Glitter Kiss video. It's actually our most watched video with nearly 1,000 watches. So thank you all who have watched that one. And if you have seen that one, this is a very similar product that's going to seem very similar indeed. The difference is this time, instead of being a glitter based product, it's a pearl based product. So very much like the glitter ones, in the lid we have an applicator that obviously comes clean when you do get your jars new. Just to give you an idea, I'll show you this one. They start off brand new and bright white. We do recommend that you just wash them through to begin with. That'll get the film off of them from the machine that made the actual sponges. It's not vital, but it will help you and it will give you a less harsh edge when you're actually working with them to begin with. These just clip back into the lid and will stay there for the next time you need them. It's a really good way of actually having different colour applicators per colour product without having to store them elsewhere or buy lots and lots of different tools. They come included with them. So let's have a run through of the colours I'm going to be working with today, and then we'll show you how they actually work, and then a little later on I'll show you some of the things I've made with them. So to begin with, we have Gold Treasure. Now on my samples below here I've shown you how they colour on black card and on white card. Now with some of the colours, and depending on how thick you apply it, it doesn't really make a lot of difference what colour card it's on. I'll just colour straight over the top of it. But with some of them you will see a different tone show through them just slightly. Moving on, we have Fern, which of course if you're thinking of Christmas, this is a really gorgeous colour. Perfect. Then we have Rich Red, which is the one I was flashing a little while ago. And then we have Purple Paradise, which again is just a really Moorish colour. They're all lovely. I don't know how you're going to pick, to be honest. I feel sorry for you. Next up we have Silver Dream. Now again, this one is going to look a lot like the Pearl Lustre we're going to get to in a minute, and I don't think the camera's going to do this one justice, to be honest. It's a really nice light silver, loads you could do with that one obviously. Moving on, we have Purple Mist, which is a darker purple and very different if we compare that straight off to our Purple Paradise we had just a couple of minutes ago. You can really see, although they're both purples, you do need both. You're not wrong, you do. And then last up we have Pearl Lustre. Now this one is an essential. I don't actually think you can ever craft again unless you buy one of these, because it's just an essential and we all need at least one in our life. It's perfect. It's just an amazing product and it will just change what you craft with and how you do it, and you'll never throw a piece of card in the bin again because of all of your offcuts. All of your scraps can be turned pearlescent, so it's just brilliant. Anyway, enough of me gushing about this product. Let's actually show you it in use. So if we start off with the Purple Paradise one, so again a bit like with the Glitter Kiss, you can build up a little ramp on the side here. It will just help you get less of it on your applicator, because again you really don't need a lot and it goes an incredibly long way. So once you have it onto your actual sponge, you can literally just start off working across your card, and it doesn't matter in what direction you do this or how you do this. Again, referring back to the Glitter Kiss one, if you have watched that one, you'll remember we had to swipe in different directions so that the adhesive bonded the glitter in place. With this one there is no glitter, so there is no adhesive in that sense, so we don't have to worry about that. We can really just go in any direction we want to and build up as much of a colour as you wish to. If you are feeling that you're getting a bit of a streak going on, just twist it and go the other way. It will help buffer it out. This can be used on different products, different mediums as such, actually using it onto. Depending on what you apply it to and how thick you do it, will depend on how long it takes to dry. But this is actually incredibly quick drying on card, and as you can see, in seconds you can cover a very large area. The card I'm using, to give you an idea, is just our ordinary stamping card. So you get 50 sheets for £4.99 or 100 sheets for £9. So at 9p a sheet for this 300 GSM card, once you've got this product, you could be creating your own pearl card, which would normally sell for 40p a sheet. And of course, not only can you create your own card like that, you can do a lot more with it. It's not just one shade. These are a water-based product, and it means that basically we can mix and match them, and we can mould them together and blend them together and create different effects with them. So I'm going to take this one next. This is our purple mist, and I just want to show you really easily how we can just layer that and just go across the top of it if you want to. You can do like really nice ombre effects with it, starting off on white card and just blending all one colour up one end and one colour to the other, and then blending it together. Or like this, you can see how you can really easily just colour over the top of it. And then if you do want to mix them together, just take your lighter sponge again and just buffer in between them, and you will see that you can blend them colours together really effortlessly to create really nice effects, to be honest. I don't know how well you're going to pick this up, but you can see that we've just gone from the dark shade at the bottom to the lighter one at the top. Here's one I did earlier, just to give you a dried effect. I do think it does dry slightly better, and you'll see a bit of difference. And this one I did start off with it all just as white, and did the dark at the top, the light at the bottom, and then blended in the middle instead of coating over the top of them. But you can see that that actually gives you quite a nice effect as well, because even under the dark bit, you've got tones of the light one coming through. So there's so much you can do with these, so many ways you can build them up. They're really good as well if you just want to go around the edge of a product. You don't have to do the whole sheet of it, obviously, if you just want to colour around the side of it. They actually remind me a little bit of like a distress ink. You can sort of buff around the edges with them if you want to, and the sponge is quite nice for that as well. So if you do want a bit more of a gradual effect or a more aged effect depending on the colours you're working with, don't be afraid to play about with them, because if you can get really nice edges like that. So that's just your basic colouring, so we'll pop that to one side for a moment. Obviously these open up so many different options for you, and as I say, that was the basic bit. I'm going to show you another one which is just slightly different. This time we're going to use a piece of waffle card. So if you've not seen this before, it's just textured. It comes in white or cream in A4 sheets. This is just a little off-cut I've got, to be honest. But I'm going to show you this with the Fern colour. So this is our dark green. I'm just going to get a little bit of that. And when you're doing this on a texture, you really don't need to push down on it. If you push down too hard, because it is a sponge, it will just go into all the holes and you will end up with a piece of green card, which is fine and a nice way to colour your card. But with textures like this, you can just highlight the actual texture to it. And I've got another one here I did earlier, very Blue Peter, I know, in the gold colour. That's the Gold Treasure, just to show you that you could really highlight quite a nice little waffle pattern. A lot of our card blanks are actually waffle, so if you wanted to, you could quite easily buy our cheap card blanks and then give them a pearlescent finish quite easily. And not only a pearlescent finish, a textured pearlescent finish, which is even more exciting. So let's pop the green one away and we will move on to our next bit. So of course I've shown you how these work on our paper and our card, but another thing we can do with them is we can cover MDF. Now we did a really lovely video a couple of weeks ago showing you different MDF structures and products and storage containers and bits that you can purchase in store or online and decorate and build. So this would be a really good product if you did get any of those, that you could be working these two together. So let's pick a different colour. Let's go for this purple mist actually, because this is just really Moorish. And I'll show you how quickly this covers on the MDF. Again, you can just swipe it on and it is covered. And it is as simple as that, really. You can keep working it round. But this is even quicker than painting, isn't it, to be honest with you? You couldn't get that quick effect even with a paintbrush. And it's just lovely. It's just so Moorish and such a rich colour. And the pearl just, I'm sure the camera doesn't do it justice. It's just really lovely. Now, as I've got a tag done, I'll show you the next thing we can do with these as well, because there is just so many bits. This is just an ordinary stencil. Again, it's one I used on a showcase not that long ago, so you may have seen this one before. Again, it's available in store. They're only £5.99, but we do lots of different stencils, lots of different prices, lots of different sizes. We're just going to lay that on there. If you were doing this at home, I would highly recommend you tape it in place, but I don't want to bore you with doing that. So we're going to be naughty and just work straight on top of it. And this time I'm going to get the Silver Dream, because we all know that purple and silver go together really well. If you are going to stencil, instead of actually pushing across the stencil, because this is a sponge and we have all these really delicate little bits and it could easily damage your stencil and certainly move your stencil, I'm just going to push down on the actual applicator. So I'm more stippling through this and sort of brushing over it, if that makes sense. And I won't do too much because I don't want to keep you here forever while I attack this, but we'll just do a little side piece. And hopefully that'll give you an idea of what you could do. And when we take that off, you can see that we have a really nice, easy, quick, efficient stencil. And of course this is so many different stencil designs on the market, and so many even that we stock, so you could do some lovely effects with that. And one of my tags that I'm going to show you that I've actually managed to complete, I'll show you that a little later, and that's got the same stencil on it. Different colours actually, which is quite nice, so it'll show you how you can pick any of these colours and get different results each time. So with stenciling in mind, and I often do this because this really impresses me, so I'm sorry if you've watched my videos before and I've shown you this and you're thinking, oh, he's going to do that again with the peel-offs, but I really think it's a lovely effect, so I want to show you this. This time I'm going to go for rich red, and we're just going to go over the top of this. This is just ordinary peel-off stuck onto white card. But I think this is such a worthwhile thing. Peel-offs now get such a bad rap. People feel that they've sort of had their day and they're gone with. And I actually think they're quite lovely. And I think there is really a place for them still. But if you have got some that are kicking around in a drawer, and you are one of them people who feel that they've had their day and you're not going to work with them anymore, then this could be a really good way for you to use them up. Now, it's going to appear slightly wasteful in the sense that when I peel them off in a moment, we're going to throw them in the bin. But to be honest, if you were going to send the card, you would stick them on and send it. So it's going to cost you just as much to stick them on and send it as it is to peel them off and stick them in the bin. So if it's a result you like, it doesn't really matter if it's sort of seen as wasteful, if it actually helps, if that makes any sense at all. I'm just going to buff for another colour over the top, just simply because of the design I did coming up. I used a few different colours, and I quite like the fact that if we don't worry too much about how we're layering these, you'll actually get some quite nice effects, and I think it gives you a nicer image. So we're just going to stick a few Christmassy colours together this time. So this is our treasured gold, or gold treasure I should say, going over the top of this one. And then we're going to go on with some green after that. And if you're worrying that I'm using different colours on the same sponges, obviously we did the red and now we're doing the gold, and now I'm going to pick up a different colour sponge and I stick some green over the top of it. Don't worry, the sponges don't actually get damaged by that, and the colours will just build up. And if you do want to wash them, of course you can wash them and start from afresh if you prefer. But I haven't really found an issue with it, especially if you're blending your colours like this. You tend to find you're wearing it off as much as you're putting it on. And of course, you can build any colours you want to with this, and you will just get different effects each time. So I'm hoping you're going to see the different tones come through on this one. But this is a bit of an unplanned colour scheme, so we'll see what you think of it. Obviously, you're going to cover the middle, so you don't have to worry too much about if you colour all of your colours. But hopefully you're seeing a few shades come through. Now, you'd normally let this dry for a minute, but that's really boring for you to sit and watch. So I'm just going to go ahead and hack away at this now and peel these off. And again, I'll show you after I've done this, my finished one, so you can see the different effect. But these can just come straight off, and you'll hopefully see that you sort of get different tones around the edges of them, of the different colours. And plus you've got the different tones in the background. And then if you wish to, because if you've got the hints of the reds, the greens and the golds against the really crisp white on this, you could then layer your flowers or poinsettias, as this is more of a colour scheme for Christmas, on top of them to give you a different effect. Now hopefully you're seeing where I'm going with this, and I'll show you my completed one, because as I say, my completed one is a completely different colour scheme. So let's dig that out and show you that one. So this is that one. As I say, this is our green and red one. This one is done with the purple. So this is Purple Mist. the purple paradise, and believe it or not, it's also got the gold treasure in there as well. So again, you might not be able to see the 3 different tones, but there is 2 different purples and a gold all mixed in under that little peel off creation. And as I say, it's sort of wasteful, but I love the fact that unlike a stencil where you are stuck to the size it is, with the peel offs you can create your own backings, and if you wanted to do words like happy birthday or names and then peel them off as well, you could, or happy Father's Day, Mother's Day, whatever you wanted, they can all be hidden there too. So as you can see, I'm now getting a really nice coloured background piece of paper. Another good thing with this is if you wanted to, if you're all doing all one colour, die cut it, use it, make flowers out of it. The pearly bit does actually give it quite a nice body, so you could quite easily die cut flowers out of this and then shape them and use them on your projects. So don't feel it's wasteful, everything can be used. And with that in mind, I'm going to show you a flower as we're chatting about flowers. You've probably just seen them on the card I was showing you, but these are really lovely flowers to work with, really lovely inks, if that's the right word. I suppose we should call them a mousse more than an ink, but they're really lovely to work with if you're going to do flowers. So this is just a die cut flower that I had hidden away in one of my stashes, and I'm going to go over the top of this using the purple paradise. So we're just going to colour the whole thing with that one, and then because I wanted the same two-tone effect on the card I just flashed at you, we're going to get the purple mist one out again. So it's darker purple this time. And all I did was just sort of just stressed around the edges of the tips. Now it doesn't exactly look very neat. It isn't, to be quite honest with you, but when we layer the different size flowers on top of it, you will see that that flower becomes these. So if we knock that out of the way, come back you. Then when it dries and you've shaped it and you've put the 3 different levels together, that's actually how you're going to create your flowers. And they're beautiful. I really love these flowers. I was really, really chuffed when I made these. But it's not me, it's just a die and this lovely product. So anyone can do these. It's not a secret talent of any description. If you can use a die cutting machine and you can brush ink on in random places, you can do these too. So don't be put off, they're great fun to make. And you'll see these in lots of different colours scattered throughout my cards today, just because they're really easy and fun to do. So let's show you the pearl lustre colour, because I really told you I loved that one, but yeah, I haven't actually shown you that one in any way, shape or form, have I? So I'm going to show you on top of the white card to begin with, just simply because I love white pearl card, but yeah, it's always a bit of a issue trying to match up your colours. They do so many different colours of white now, don't they? And even if we go for the Centura pearls, there's so many different hint of this and hint of that. This is quite a nice way that you can make everything coordinate. So again, I've just got our stamping card. We're just going to get the white off of this, and I'll show you just a little bit of this one. Again, just brush it straight over the top. You really don't have to try and be neat with this. I know some of you are a bit anti getting messy. I'm sure there should be a better term for that. But if you do worry about getting inky fingers or messy fingers, this washes off really easily. So don't worry about that at all. Just ordinary water and it just comes straight off. And that applies again to your tables and all of your stencils and bits like that. You don't have to be panicking that it's going to set on there and stay on there for a lifetime. It will come off really quickly. So that, hopefully you can see the difference between the actual white as we've just put it on and the white cardstock that was originally there. And I wanted to do a white one because I want to show you something else you can do with these as well. Now there's 2 different ways of doing this, or 2 different styles of doing this. Firstly, we can stamp over this. This will be dry now and ready to attack. So I'm going to show you that you can just use ordinary black ink. This is just a memento ink, and I've got a script stamp already loaded on here. So we're going to do that to begin with, just to show you that you can stamp on it. Now of course this lends itself to a whole host of new ideas. If we're going to stamp on it, we could then be cutting them out and having little pearl embellishments done really easily. Or of course, like the one I'm using, we're just going to use a background stamp, and that works really well too. So as you can see, you get a really nice crisp image. There's nothing getting in the way of that. And as we've done it with Memento, we could now paint it, colour it, do whatever we wanted to if it was a flower or something like that as well. So again, many, many options, and really, really good that we can do that on top of that. So we'll pop that one over there. Now there is another thing we can do with these. I'm going to bring back this sample that I had from earlier, and got up here it is, I've hid it away over here. These are new, So I haven't told you about these yet in any way, shape or form. They're not on the website or anything as yet. They will be by the time you've watched this video. So if you do want to go and order them, they are there and ready. And if you want to collect them in store, obviously you can do that now as well. Just post in the comments, we'll have them held for you. But these stamps are really lovely. They're brand new and they're only $4.99. And I'm going to use this big corner stamp out of here. I'm going to load it onto this block again. And this time, instead of stamping with the black Memento ink that we just did, we're actually going to stamp with the gold. So this is treasured gold, because another thing we can do with them is we can actually use them as an ordinary ink as such. So this time again, I'm going to pick up quite a bit of ink, and we're just going to splodge it over the top here. Nice technical term for you there, a bit of splodging. But again, we don't want to brush it, because we don't want to brush it off as we're going. We want the ink to sit on top of the stamp so that it'll actually be there when we come to push down on it. So we'll cover that. This is a really lovely stamp to work with. It's such a big size. For the money, it's just ridiculous. If you think you're getting 2 of these big corners in there, that makes them like £2.50 a corner. And for a stamp this size, that's just silly money, really. And it's such an intricate stamp and really, really beautiful to work with. So, now we have our stamp inked up. Let's go for a corner. Let's go for a darker corner, actually, because of gold always looks better on darker, doesn't it? Try and get this the right way. Here we go. And I'll stand for this so we hopefully don't miss anything. And hopefully you'll get to see it all done. Now, these aren't necessarily the most crispiest inks as such, but again, what a lovely way to get a stamped pearl effect that's going to match your flowers or your backing paper or your backing card. Again, it's more about giving you the option to match everything in without too much hard work. And it's such a lovely effect, isn't it? Isn't that beautiful? The gold and the purples work really well together, don't they? I know so many people do purple weddings. What a lovely stamp and card to send to somebody who's getting married in that colour scheme this year. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll pop that one over there. And then we'll come over here to this one. Now this again is something different. Going back more to the Glitter Kiss products when we worked with them, these of course can be used on embossing folders. So again, unlike when we were doing all the different directions, with this one we can work with it just directly on in one direction or any direction. So this time I've got the Fern, and again less is more with this. You can't take it off, but you can put it on. Don't push down at all, really. Just brush over the top of it. And a lot of this will depend on the embossing folders you're working with. If you have embossing folders that have big gaps in them, as in between the patterns, you're going to find that the ink will go through, or the mousse will go through, and cover them areas more. If you push down too hard, you will find that you go through and you will cover them areas. So the softer you apply it, the more you're just going to brush over the top and pick up that top colour. Now, of course, like all card, there's nothing wrong with you going in and colouring right over the top of it all. And then, of course, you can build up more colours on top of them. And I do find they layer really well. So if you do want to do that, that's not a problem. But this is just a really simple way of just covering over an embossing folder and actually highlighting the design itself. This is one of our new embossing folders, by the way. It's a holly one, obviously, getting ready for the Christmas season. That one's in the store online, only $5.99 too. But that's another really lovely one to work with. So, just to recap, we've shown that you can use them on their own, just to colour over your card. You can stamp with them, you can stamp on them, you can distress with them, you can cover embossing folders with them, you can stencil with them, you can highlight textured card with them. So by now I'm sure you need all 7 of them. This is quite simply the problem, isn't it? There's 7 colours to choose from. How on earth are you going to pick them? So, I'm going to help you out a little bit more, and I'm going to show you some of the examples I've made in the hope that that might help you, maybe. I think it's just going to make you want all 7 even more, to be honest. So we'll go back to this card that I gave you a little flash of earlier and just chat about it a little bit more. So on this one you can see that we've got the Purple Paradise, the Purple Mist, and then the leaves, they're actually done with the Fern and the Silver Dream. So I know you possibly aren't seeing this on film, but over the top and just around the edges of the green leaves is the Silver Dream, just to give you more of a pearly finish. Really lovely to work with those, and gives you just a double layer effect. I'm not going to take you off to it now, but do remember our border here and the centres of these flowers. I have another new product I'm going to share with you in a minute, and that's just to die for. So we'll stick that over there and we'll come back to those and chat with you about them in a minute. Moving on to our next card. Now this again was just, I don't actually think I like this one, but I wanted to show it to you because of, it's got a lot of techniques in it, so that's a good thing. The card itself is an ordinary card blank. It's a 7.5 by 7.5 aperture card, and I wanted to show you that although sometimes they only come in limited colours, like ours are pretty much white and cream, why not colour the whole thing? So this time I've coloured over the front of the card using the gold. I've then used that stamp that we was just working with in the rich red in opposite corners, and then on the inside I've coloured in rich red and then stamped over it in the gold. So it doesn't matter what colour you've got, you can stamp with pretty much all of them, or can do all of them, and give you a different effect. I've then coloured the back in gold as well, just so you don't see any harsh white. And then on the front we have the flowers. Now the flowers again were just cut out of ordinary white card, but I've gone over the top of these with the pearl lustre, and then I've gone over the tips of them using the rich red. And then the leaves are done with the fern again. And I haven't done anything more with them, just done the fern on the leaves this time. So hopefully you might see a bit of a difference. And we'll pop that over to one side and we'll move on to the next one. Keeping that so I can show you my next product, because I'm quite in love with that too, and I think you will love it as well. This one's a bit more of a Tim Holtzy one for me, if I suppose. It's a bit more distressed and a bit more aged, was sort of what I was heading for. This time I've gone for poinsettia dies. I've gone for the fern on the base one, and then I've tried to get the effect of like a little bit of snow was my aim really. So I've used the silver dream over the edges just to sort of tone them in a little. I've then got the ferns, which have got just the green on, so that's the fern with fern. And then in the background we have that holly embossing folder. Now I wanted berries in the middle of my holly, so all I did was use the same rich red and just applied it with a paintbrush. Not a problem to do that. Went on a little bit thicker, but it just dries, it's not a problem. And then of course you're matching in the same colours, so it saves you buying yet another product. In the background here I have a different folder. Now I've tried to keep this so I can rip it apart because I just really like this folder and I like how I coloured it. But I sort of hid it by covering it all up. But if you were doing this, you could keep it more exposed. So again, this was white card. I've gone over it with the rich red. And then I've just blended very lightly the green, the red and the gold together to give me sort of a mixed match of colouring. And it just makes a nice backing. And it's quite nice because obviously it picks up in all the tones dotted around the card as well. On the front here, this is actually a piece of red card, just to show you that you can colour over other colours. Red card this time, and I've gone over it with the pearl lustre, which is quite nice because it gives you that little red sheen from underneath it. I've distressed around the edge of it as such using the fern colour, and then obviously just stamped in the middle using black memento. So again, really nice to stamp on top of and still gives you a crisp effect. And then moving on to my next one, we have a wedding card. Now this time I've got just a blue linen embossing folded piece of card at the back here, and I've gone over it with Silver Dream, which is hopefully you're picking up on a really nice silver sheen that's covered over the top of that. I've then used a piece of white card a couple of layers back. This was just an ordinary piece of white card, and I've used the Silver Dream over that again. You can actually see I was lazy and didn't do it in the middle because I knew I was going to cover it. But doesn't that show you how you're getting that really nice Centura Pearl finish, but without having to pay for Centura Pearl? Not that we should say that, but it's true. It all adds up. It gives you more money to buy more products like this, doesn't it? So, we can't moan. The flowers again started off as white card, and this time I've gone over them with the pearl lustre again. And they really do look like they've just been cut out of pearl card. So, again, really good way to save money and use cheap card. Moving on, we have a plaque. Now, this is my Happy Christmas plaque. Now, these come in store last week. Our wooden plaques. I don't know if you've seen them. We did put them online. They're available on the website and they went on our Facebook too. They're only £1.79 and we do a smaller, little more coaster size as well. But these are perfect to stamp on, so I didn't want it too plain. So I stamped over the back in a script stamp, and then I've added my flowers. Now this time the poinsettias, I went over them completely in gold treasure, and then over the top of that with the rich red, just to give you that sort of two-tone colour effect. And then the ferns again started off white, but I went over them in gold treasure and then just over the edges with the fern colour. Now the Happy Christmas, this is worth mentioning. I only had a pre-cut glitter foam Happy Christmas. But I felt that the red was a bit too gaudy to go with my sort of very distressed flowers and very sort of toned down wooden plaque. So if you do want to, these will work on that too. So again, this is the Fern, and you can just splodge it straight over the top and it will give you that same effect. And I've just wanted sort of a little bit of the red showing through, more of a vintage sort of distressed glitter effect again. But it dries perfectly, it's not going to come off, it doesn't damage your foam, but it will give you more of a two-tone effect. I also quite like the fact that where it's colour in the top, it leaves the red on the inside exposed. If you don't want that, I didn't particularly want it for this project, but I did quite like the two-tone effect. If you don't want it, turn it over and ink it from the back as well, and you'll find that by going from the front and the back, you pretty much colour in the majority of it and you don't really see it. But it's a nice way, again, of using a different product together with this one. So you've got any foam could do that with, but the glitter does give you quite a nice vintage sparkle as well. Moving on, we will go to our last little sample, which is a tag. Now, I'd show you how to do the stenciling through the tag earlier. This time it's just the same wooden tag. I've coloured over it with no prepping at all with the Fern colour, and then I've stenciled through it using the Golden Treasure. The flowers, again, started off as plain white, but I've gone over them with a pearl lustre. Can you see I've got a bit of a favourite going on here? And then on the edges I've done the Gold Treasure again. The leaves again started off white, did them in Fern, and then just brushed a little bit of gold over the edges of them. And then for my final bits I'm going to show you is just a few more embossing folders that I've done with this, just to show you that there is so many options and so many folders you could be working with. This is black card this time, and I've just gone over with the Silver Dream and then over the top of that with the Purple Paradise. And it gives you a bit of a retro 60s feel, doesn't it? I quite like that one. This one is just another folder on cream linen card to begin with, and I've just gone over it with the gold and it gave me sort of a shabby chic effect, which I quite liked. This one's a completely sort of mixed match. This is a silver pearl piece of card before I've touched it. I've then embossed it, and then over the top I've used the gold, the green and the red to just sort of bring up a bit of a Christmassy vibe to it. So again, mix and match, don't feel you've got to stick with just one colour. This one again is a black piece of card embossed, and then this time I've gone over it with the green and the gold. And I really like that. It's sort of an aged effect, isn't it? It's really easy to do, but sort of a metallic-y, metal-y aged effect. So different folder again. And then back to one of the first folders I show you, just black card this time, brushed over with the Gold Treasure. So really nice to work with those. And you can be as neat or as messy as you wish to, and really go back and fill in the different gaps. So I have one more product I'm going to talk to you about, which is another brand new product, and this I am really excited about. I've probably seen it on lots of my samples, so I won't go on too much through the samples again, but I will highlight it as we go. So this time we have a new glitter. Now this isn't just a glitter, this is amazing. This is absolutely scrumptious. I just want to dive into one of these pots and stay there, which probably sounds very enthusiastic for glitter, but it is lovely. It's different size pieces of glitter all mixed in together, and they're just so rich and the colours are so vintage and just Moorish is probably the best word for it. It's $3.99 a pot. It isn't on offer, I'm afraid, but it is brand new, but we do have limited stocks of it, so don't hesitate if you want to add this onto your order today. You have a red one, a gold one, a green one, a silver one, and the most amazing frosted white, which just looks like snow. It's the options you could do with this. I could rant and rave about this product all day. I'm going to highlight quickly. I use it in the middles of all of my flowers by just pumping in some glue gun to the size of a pea and then sprinkling over the top of it the glitter. Now the silver one actually looks like tiny mirror balls, which is just amazing because not what I'd expected at all. But the bigger chunks really give that mirror ball effect, and really lovely effect really. That's the silver. We had the gold hidden in the middle of these flowers. I don't know if you see them when we looked at the tag, but doesn't it just help pull it all together? Then in the middle of this one we have the gold again, and on the branches we have that frosted white, which as I said really does just look like snow. It's a really lovely product to work with if you're doing Christmas cards. Again, on this one, we have a little bit of the red in the middles of the flowers, and then I've stuck gems over the top of them to represent the actual berries in the centre. And then on the ferns, again, we've got the frosted white as snow. Moving on to our next one. On this one, this I really like. This is the frosted white again. Not Christmassy this time at all, but it just gives you like a really like glacier style sparkle to the middle of it. On the front here, I've also put it over just ultra thick tape, ultra sticky tape, sorry, not thick, the 3mm one, just to create a border with it. But of course, there's so many options of things you could do with this, but it just has that really rich sparkle to it. It really is so Moorish. We've been stocking glitter for 15 years and I've never been this excited over glitter, so it must be good. In the middles of these flowers, again, we have the gold one used, just to tie in, obviously, with the colour scheme of that. And on the tree, I've got a little bit of everything. I've got the frosted, the gold, and the red on there. And I think there's even some green bits hidden away in there too. So if you do want those, don't miss out on them. As I say, we do really have limited stock of these. You've got frosted white, silver, green, red and gold, and they are $3.99 a jar. So just to recap your offer for this week, or to tell you about your offer for this week, because I haven't yet, I've been lazy, sorry. So this week you have 7 colours of your, forgot its name now, metallic gilding polish, that's the one. You can purchase them separately for £5.50, or if you can't decide and you'd like 2, you can buy any 2 for £10, or if like me, you do have just fell in love with it and you want all of them and you don't want to let them go, you can have all 7 for just £30, which is really good because that's like cashing in on the offer of buying 6 for your £10 as such, and then you're getting 1 for free, if that made any sense. But it really does make it quite a little bargain. So just to recap again, £5.50 per colour, 2 for £10, or you can have all 7 for £30. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that some of these techniques have inspired you to get playing with this product and seeing what you can create. If you do get it and you do make some lovely things, we'd love to see them. So you can of course post them to us, you can email them to us, you can pop them on our Facebook page if you wish to. We'd love to see what you've been up to. All of the cards I've made today will be put onto our Pinterest page. So if you do follow us on Pinterest, you can then pin them and have them held forever, basically. So you can revert back to them at any time and see what we did today. As always, we would urge you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you don't mind. That would be really, really appreciated. We're nearing 100 subscribers and would love to hit that target, and you could help us today by hitting subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next Sunday when we have another new Sunday showcase. Bye for now.